Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Yuridia on Air show. Thank you for being here. Happy Friday. Today is Friday the 13th.
Yeah, wow. Special day.
It's a special day. And for a special day like today, I decided to invite someone important for that matter, right? Because we associate bad luck and good luck with Friday the 13th.
Exactly.
And we brought an agent,
Right.
an insurance agent. Let me introduce you to my friend Luis Barajas, right? And I want everybody to know about you, what you do, and why you're here. Okay,
Perfect.
So tell everybody about yourself.
Yes, so Luis Barajas with Protectors Insurance.
Okay.
We serve our clients and we help our clients find the best solution to their insurance needs.
Okay.
Whether it's auto, home, life, and business, we're always looking for the best options that fits their needs and budget.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor and I'm very excited to share what we have in store for them.
Yes, yes. Well, I noticed that you were born in Texas, right?
Correct.
And then you grew up in West Point?
Correct.
How far is West Point from here?
You know,
from
West
Omaha?
Point's about an hour 15 west from here, heading towards Fremont and then heading towards Norfolk.
Okay. And how's the community over there?
It's a small community of about 3,000 families. Very small, but for the most part, great people.
Okay.
You know, I grew up there. I've been living there for essentially the last 15, 20 years. And now currently live in Omaha. But definitely a small community. Everybody kind of knows each other. Everybody supports each other, and just filled with a ton of great people.
That's like the Nebraska good life, right?
Yeah, no lie.
Yes. And then you always were in the insurance field, or how did you end up in insurance out of all the positions that are out there?
Right. So, you know, I was very lucky to just fall into an internship back in 2017. Just a couple months, and it's something that I really enjoyed, so I decided to just chase it and go after it. And luckily I was surrounded by some great people at that time that gave me the opportunity to pursue that career. And 6 years later, we're still here.
You're still here. And now you're like the founder, right?
Yes.
Or how did that happen? Like you saw an opportunity, or you just wanted to, how would you explain it to somebody else that is on your position?
Yeah. So for the last 5-6 years, I was honored to be part of a great team, part of an agency that gave me all the tools and knowledge to become educated and build the confidence in myself to finally go on my own. The team that I belonged to was very supportive. And at one point of time, I just realized that in the situation that I was in, I wasn't going to be able to help everybody. I was part of a captive carrier, meaning that I only had one product, one company. And unfortunately, as we all know, one shoe does not fit everybody.
Yes.
So really, when I was looking to expand and maybe find opportunity to help others, is really what motivated me to go on my own and become independent. So being independent, we have 10, 15, 20 plus companies that we work with. And we're able to find a policy that really fits our client's specific need, whether they have a license, foreign license or no license, whether they have prior insurance history or no insurance history. We're able to help everybody, and we have a solution for everybody. So very grateful for the team that I belong, because without them, I probably wouldn't be here. I had a lot of support, and just I've always kind of had the dream of being an entrepreneur, and always knew that I wanted to do something bigger than where I was at. And finally, 2022, April of 2022, we launched our own agency, Protectors Insurance, and 10 months later, we're still at it. Started off with just myself, and now we have a team of 3, and we're going to continue to grow and continue to provide value to our communities.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
It's
you.
easy to say than done, right?
Right.
Because like you said, you have to build that confidence. I think there's a lot of fear, or sometimes we don't believe that we're capable to do certain things. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're doing this, because you are an example for others.
Right.
You know, like if you can do it, they can come and talk to you and say, this is what I did, this is what you can do.
Right.
Or I don't know if you guys do like internship for somebody else that wants to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They can reach you.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Definitely. We're always going to be there to support our community, and we're still new and growing. So definitely the opportunities are endless. Definitely we want to give back, and we're currently in the process of applying for internship positions to maybe bring on some individuals that can kind of check out what we do and see if it's a good career path for them. So we'll see what happens. Maybe this summer we'll bring somebody on and give them the opportunity to kind of explore the insurance side of things.
That's really good. Now, when you're talking about the community, how do you think you're serving the community? In what way?
Yeah, so great question. Insurance is not a fun subject. A lot of times insurance comes into use at the time of a crisis. And a lot of times we're sold a product based off of price, and we're not really shown the benefits. And insurance is really to cover any liabilities or cover, an incident or a crisis. The way that we help our community is that we give them the education piece of things on how do you use the insurance, how do you manage your insurance to benefit off of lower pricing long term. Insurance is very similar to credit. If you don't properly manage your insurance, you're going to be overpaying for your insurance.
Really?
So really
Wow.
educating them on how to manage their insurance, the benefits, the pros and cons of different limits of liability, what's the difference between having comp and collision and just having your basic liability. And then also now we're actually helping the community with business insurance as well. We understand that business is a very sensitive topic to a lot of people. Other people consider their business as their baby. And a lot of people have taken, years and years to develop the confidence in themselves after sacrifices to finally have their own operation in place. And that's when we come along to how can we protect that business to make sure that it's successful, even if something happens. Some things are out of your control, and liability comes and mitigates that risk.
Yes, I know I'm an immigrant, and a lot of the insurance, it's new to us, and it's different. Even back home in Mexico, we have insurance, but there's a lot of gray areas, and a lot of that is because it's lack of information or lack of education. And we always think, when I used to do a lot of immigration cases with my client, they will say, well, you have insurance, and they say the cheapest one. And that's only because the government is required.
Yeah.
Because if the government doesn't require, I'm not even going to do it. Because a lot of people identified insurance as an expense.
Right.
Like it's something painful.
Yeah.
And they honestly think, well, I'm not going to use it, so I'm just paying for something that I'm not using.
Right.
And then times happens, right? Because I don't think a lot of people see that insurance is a protection and it's an investment.
Right.
And that gets a lot of people into trouble,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And especially for businesses. I remember one of the lawyers used to say, well, if you have a business and you haven't received a lawsuit, you're not in business.
Right, exactly.
Because I can't remember what was the percentage of business getting lawsuit, but it was really, really, really high.
Yeah, it's really high.
It's really high.
In the course of the life, there's going to be a lawsuit at
Yes.
some point of time.
Always. There's going to be a client who's not happy, because we're in a country that, filing a lawsuit is a business.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a free country to do that.
Yep.
So even whether I'm right or not, if I don't like you or if I think I'm a victim, and I will sue you.
Yeah.
And it's not personal, it's business.
Definitely.
That's what it is. But a lot of us think it's personal. And imagine I'm a business owner and I have a construction company, and a lot of people think, well, I'm forced to have workers' compensation.
Right.
And how does it work? And then also, I remember I had a client that she has a restaurant, and she was saying, well, yeah, my refrigerator, broke, and my storage broke, and everything is spoiled. And that's her business, like you say, it's her
Right.
baby. And I remember I told her, why don't you call the insurance? Don't you have insurance? She's like, yeah, I have insurance, but it's useless. They don't help me. So how would you address that? How would you walk your client in a situation like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing that I always tell my clients is that we're in a business to protect you and have your best interests in mind. We want to help you through any hardship, But it's very important for you to understand your benefits as well. And insurance is not a fun subject, and you're not in the business of insurance. You're in the business of being a restaurant owner or being a contractor,
Yes.
right? So insurance is always a last minute thing. But I always recommend my clients to, hey, let's sit down for an hour or two. Let's explain the benefits. Let's go through different scenarios on how this could apply to you, so you can understand on what steps you take when that time happens or when that accident happens.
I think it's very important to know the steps,
Definitely.
not just get the insurance.
Right, exactly. And there's, insurance is sensitive, so there has to be steps taken to get the claim and get benefits off of the claim, right?
Okay.
A lot of times it takes time and it takes effort to go through that. But also, insurance companies aren't going to fix the problem. They're only going to give you funding to fix the problem. And that's a misconception that oftentimes I see. Clients are quick to tell the insurance company, hey, you need to fix this now. But in reality, you're the business owner. You assume all responsibility in your operation. And all insurance can really do is try to recover the loss at the time of a loss.
Can you give me an example of a client that was in a situation like that?
So, some of the situations that we've had, we work with a lot of contractors,
Okay.
people who are in the business of either drywall, flooring, roofing, for example. And in those situations, there's risk not only in losing or theft of your tools, but what if one of your clients, for example, steps on a nail and now there's medical injury?
Yeah.
Or you happen to one of your ladders tips over and breaks your client's home's window. You're responsible for all that. You're being paid a fee to cover or repair the home, and if whatever happens out of that situation, you're going to be responsible for. So some of the stuff that I've dealt with, I've had clients who get their van stolen with $5,000-$10,000 worth of tools. As we all know, tools are expensive.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
Some tools are $2,000-$3,000. Some tools are $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So
Wow.
having the proper coverage is important. Step number one, have an idea of your inventory, know what you have to lose if something happens, and then talk to a local trusted agent to kind of give you some knowledge and give you some products that can help your business. In a situation with tools, for example, you need a policy called an inline marine, which is coverage for the tools. If there's theft, there's vandalism, maybe there's a fire that damages your tools, that can get replaced. So you can buy brand new tools and continue working and continue your operation. But then also lawsuits. Let's say that you have a restaurant and somebody gets sick due to your food. You're also responsible for that. If there's enough proof that what they ate came from your restaurant, there could be a lawsuit. Food poisoning, for example. Mm-hmm. Maybe they find that you didn't take the proper sanitary process to clean your kitchen, and they find you're negligent. You're responsible. So that could pay out bodily injury under general liability, for example. There's so many products out there, and it really changes based on the business that you operate in. A business that's in the restaurant is going to be a very different risk than somebody who's a contractor, or a lawyer, or some kind of office work is very different than roofing, for example.
Yes.
So for that reason, consult a local agent, and I mean local. Because nobody's going to have your best interest in mind other than somebody local that can relate to you and can offer you the products and solutions to your needs.
I think you have to kind of build like a relationship with your agent.
Yeah.
You have to.
I agree.
It's kind of like when you get a lawyer too. You have to, well, for instance, for immigration cases, yes, you can get a lawyer in Texas, California, but you're in Omaha and the court is here in Omaha. Get someone from here. It's better. And it's the same thing for the insurance. If you can interview, people don't have to just hire the first one, right?
Exactly.
They can come to you, interview you, and if they feel that there's a connection, then they can do business, right?
100%.
Now, tell us a story about one of your clients that you say, man, thank God you had insurance for this, because it would be bad.
Yeah.
If
I agree.
you wouldn't. Do you have a story?
I do. I had one of my clients who owns his own building.
Okay.
He just happened to have somebody slip and fall on ice on his sidewalk, for example.
Okay.
That because it's in your premises or on your lot or in your business, you're liable for that. Essentially, you need to take the proper maintenance to clean your sidewalks, etc. If somebody slips and falls on your sidewalk, you could be liable for that. Luckily, we had medical expenses. We had general liability to cover some of that expense. But you know, at the end of the day, we all know medical can get pretty pricey.
Yes.
So if
In this country, yes.
and if the client or that individual's client wants to, you know, pursue a lawsuit, it's not just medical at that point of time. Now there's legal fees, legal representation on your end, and there's going to be some kind of settlement. You know, we live in a country, like you mentioned, that people are quick to sue. So definitely having the right proper coverage can really make it or break your business.
And what happened to that client? So he had the full coverage or
Yep.
like part that, even though, because sometimes you still clean and people still fall,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, I can control the weather.
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
and the situation, but I'm still responsible because it's my property, right? Oh man, that's tough. That is
Yes,
tough.
yes. You know, for that case, you know, general liability, for example, is one of the products I always recommend any small business owner to have. I would say it's the foundation of the business, general liability policies, and then from there, there's additional products that you can add to add more benefit to your business and add more protection. But general liability, for the most part, covers bodily injury, whether it's you, your business, or one of your employees causing damages to your client or another individual. General liability kicks in and can cover, you know, essentially up to $1 million, depending on the product that you buy and the limits you inquire. But for the most part, $1 million is the minimal requirement that I'm always recommending my clients to have. In that case, you know, medical expense was paid out. There was a little bit of a lawsuit as well, but luckily something that the insurance companies try to put out the fire to not only cover the individual that was hurt, but then also protect the business owner, because we know that people are quick to leave Google reviews or
Yes.
talk bad about a business after a small accident that was out of their control happens.
Yes.
So, you know, you having the proper coverage is you doing the best for your client, because accidents happen, things are out of your control. If something does happen, your client has the peace of mind that you will take care of those damages, which adds more value and more trust to your business.
Now, when we're talking about businesses, there are different entities, right? But there's a lot of individuals that they're in the process of getting the immigration status and they don't have anything right now.
Yeah.
Can they still get insurance?
You know, that's
or
a
they
great
have
question.
to have a social security number for that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you know, that's a great question. For the most part, most people would think that you need some type of legal status to get business insurance. But in reality, most insurance companies don't really look into that status.
No.
What I always do
Just the bank
recommend,
status.
you know, and you know, this is a topic that goes two different ways. You know, first, the insurance side of things. Insurance doesn't really care. They don't look into it. They're not going to confirm if you're legal status or not.
Okay.
But to business, there's two sides, right? There's the legal side, which is getting your company registered, having your EIN number, being
Yes.
registered with the state, and then there's your insurance side. Although a lot of times they do go neck and neck and go together, there's no requirement for legal status on the business insurance side of things.
So yes, they can get insurance then?
Yes.
Yes, they can get
Yes.
insurance. There's
Yep.
a process, like
There's a
you
process,
said,
yep.
but you can get it. And it's important because that's a burial. And then the other thing, do you have like bilingual stuff in your office?
Yeah, so
or-
out of the three, two are bilingual, one is English speaking. So we're able to help just about everybody.
Okay. And then the documents, you provide them in English, but you explain it to them, or do you have it in Spanish too, or other languages?
You know,
or-
unfortunately, most companies only have material and documents in English.
Okay.
But we always do take the time to explain line by line, you know,
Okay.
the benefits, the pros and cons, things to look out for, exclusions, and liability limits and coverage limits.
Okay.
There is some companies out there that are starting to push out Spanish documentation, and I think that's a push from us as agents that are requesting these documents and requesting these companies to put in the work to provide these legal documentation in Spanish, because all that paperwork is legal.
Yes.
You know, it has to be written correctly in legal terms to
Yes.
not only protect the insurance company, but also protect the client. And a lot of times it gets difficult to translate that in Spanish, right? Especially when we don't come from a legal
Yes.
background. But
Yes.
we always do the best to kind of summarize and explain as much as we can to our clients.
No, that's a good subject that we have to push it, because if we don't ask for it, it would not be given to us. But if it's okay, and now there's a lot of people requesting, to be translated, or at least to sign that there's a witness or someone that explained the things to them, because they are signing a legal document that they agree. So they're putting a lot of trust on you.
Yes.
And then later they will say, well, I didn't understand. And it's true, they didn't understand, because imagine you go to Japan and they give you all these Japanese documents. You're gonna be like, well, I'm really trusting you, but I have no idea what this document. I don't know what I'm signing. So, and then by the time you want to file a lawsuit, well, you agree to that. So that's something that I think, from a client perspective, make sure that you request someone that can explain things to you in your language. And even though if you're gonna sign it in English, you have to understand what you're signing.
Exactly.
Well, do you have any announcements that you would like to share with the community?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest thing is that, for us as insurance agents, always having our clients' best interests in mind is very important to us as an agency.
Yes.
We don't always have all the answers immediately, but we're always going to be transparent and honest with our clients. It's important that you're able to build a relationship with your agent, not only to protect your business or protect your assets and liabilities, but also explain or review what ifs. We understand that there's so many moving parts, whether you're a business owner or even just in your day-to-day life. So having that relationship with somebody is important. And we are here in the community. Ourselves here are always available to assist our clients. We're only a phone call away. And what I always tell my clients is that, hey, let's be open book. It's important for us to be honest with you, but it's also very important for you to be honest with us, so that we know how to properly protect you. Like you said earlier, a lot of people are kind of like iffy about whether they want to share the full story with their agent, but it's important, because without us knowing the full story, we won't be able to guide you the right direction. So, trust is very important. Then on top of that, put the time to really invest in yourself to kind of learn that subject, even just the basics. And we are always available to set up an hour to really dive in deep about your policy, review what ifs, and maybe see where we're lacking protection to maybe find solutions to that and provide the protection as needed.
Okay. So where are you located? Here in Omaha, you said, right?
Correct. Yep. Okay. So we're in Omaha, right off of 24th and Vinton, right next to the Omaha Police Station. I always tell all my clients that we have the best security in town. So come on in. We'll get you taken care of. But we're able to serve any communities in Nebraska and Iowa. Our agency is licensed in Nebraska and Iowa. So technology helps out with documentation. Everything can be done over email or mail.
Can you also go to people's office, or they have to go to your office?
We're able to meet just about anywhere, and we're pretty flexible. We have a lot of clients in Columbus, Schuyler, and Norfolk area. We made trips out there to help these clients as well. So we're not afraid to travel. And for the most part, clients, if they need insurance, they're also going to put the time to come meet with us.
Yes.
And although, we do prefer the office because we have our computer, we can share our screen, go line by line. We have no problem.
It's probably better in the office because there's less distraction too.
Exactly. Peace and quiet. We lock our office. It's confidential.
That's important for us.
Everything's confidential. Whatever happens here stays here. And we're always going to try to do the best for
They
our
can tell you all our sins to you. And
exactly.
They can confess to you. You're not going to share that information with anybody else.
Right.
Okay.
And we're in a tough spot because we have to keep our insurance company's best interest in mind, but also our clients' best interest in mind. So we're right in the middle. We always try to represent the client, of course. But there's also right and wrong things of doing things. And we always want to make sure that we're doing things right so that we can hold the insurance company accountable to make repairs or pay out for damages. Now, if we're right in the gray area and we're lying and we're doing this and that, don't expect quality coverage if we didn't disclose your whole business operation, for example. So that honesty and that honesty part is very important in this in insurance.
And that's why it's important as an agent to explain that to the client and say, well, if you don't get this and then tomorrow you claim for this, it's not going to,
Exactly.
apply for that. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And then maybe next time we'll go to your office and interview, show like a little tour to everybody so they know where to find you.
Yeah, I'd love to have you guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See you next time. Bye.